Hi, today's July 25th, happens to be a Thursday, and I've been doing the daily digest of global warming. I published it a couple of weeks ago, and people might think I'm crazy. Why is this guy doing this? Well, what's happening on the worldwide front is somewhat predictable. And when I say what's happening, I'm talking about daily temperature variations. I've been tracking these for the past 60 years. And the song by John Lennon, people think I'm crazy just doing what I'm doing, watching the wheels of life go round and round. That song keeps going through my head because I know what's going on, and the things that are happening don't surprise me anymore. And I think more people need to pay attention to what's going on because we wake up to news like today, and it's the middle of summer, July 25th, and the weathermen are forecasting, oh, we've got beautiful weather, we've got these wonderful cool days coming, and like it's unexpected. And anybody who heard me talk at Inspire last month, the words I'm going to tell you and I'm going to show you should be ringing clear. So if you were in the audience and you heard me say this, this is not the first time you've heard it. So let's go over, take a look at the story that's unfolding for today. Well, like I said, today's the 25th of July. And we have the jet stream, which is whipping down very far to the south. Now, if you remember in my talk, I said the reason that these cool periods are developing in the summer, and you remember I said if you want to go to a cool area, move to Missouri, move to Arkansas, if you want cool summers. I said the jet stream is being perturbed. It's whipping out of position, and I don't know why. I'm not a climatologist. I don't proclaim to be why, and I'm not a soothsayer of planet Earth like my wife likes to say, but in a way I am, because I've let the data speak. And I've used my Zen master, the Zen, to help me with this. So here it is. Here's a picture of it. This is the jet stream whipping far to the south. Now this is not cherry picking because I've already published this stuff. But let me show you what this is. When the jet stream whips far to the south and you get this cool air coming down, the states that we see within the jet stream here, Minnesota, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, all the states I talked about and I showed in my presentation, they get affected with cool air in the middle of the summer. So let's take a look at these. So let's go to today's daily digest of global warming and see what does it show us. Well, here it is, and this is July 25th. We could see over here in blue all these zones of cooling. So this is being predicted based on 6 decades of data on this day. And here it is, worldwide, the overall temperature change is only 1 degree. And we know the global average is 1.69. So we are at below normal heating on this day. And principally because of all the stations we have in the U.S. which give it the weighting. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's zoom into the United States and find out exactly what's going on. So if we zoom into the contiguous lower 48 that are being impacted by this jet stream perturbation, what do we see? Well, we pretty much see the blue in the zones where the jet stream's whipping down and causing cooling. And you could see that the states like North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, all the states I talked about, and even up into the Northeast here. But what we're going to do is we're just going to pick some of these states here, and as I move over these stations, you can see that we have 6 degrees of change. We have 8 degrees of change, 5 degrees of change. This is cooling over 60 years. This is not a joke. This is real, and it happens on this day. And it's been developing on this day for 60 years. Now, it's not only this day, it could be the days around us too. I haven't looked at the next day, but let's grab a section of these and have a look at it to see what does this data tell us. So we just picked those. I've even picked some warming ones over here in the corner, but I don't really care because what we see is that selection right there has a change of minus 2.2 degrees. And if I go down, looking at the individual stations, we have as much as 11 degrees of cooling, which occurs at this station here. So lots of cooling going on in this area, and that's because that jet stream is being perturbed. It is being perturbed routinely, year after year, decade after decade. This is not a one-time thing. The weather forecasters don't know that because they haven't spent 5 years being embedded in the data like I have. But it's the truth. Now let's take a look at one other thing. If you need conclusive proof, if we take all of these individual monitoring stations in that zone and we put them on a histogram for the today, I just went through and manually picked those states that I mentioned that are shown within the jet stream, and this is the distribution of change from those stations. Okay, now take a look at that. This coloring is from the stations that are within that zone, and the gray on the outline is what's happened throughout the whole year from all the stations worldwide. But from these stations that we see here, we see clearly that we've got a change of minus 1.7 degrees, which is 100% different than the global warming average of 1.69. It's completely the opposite direction. It's not 1.7 versus 1.69, it's minus 1.7. So the minimum change in those stations is 6.77. I wasn't totally anal about it. I just went through and picked, and I wasn't cherry picking. I was just picking the states in my geographical mind that fit within the jet stream. And there they are. There's a few of them picked. I could pick others. I could go through this meticulous. But the point is that doesn't really even matter. What matters is the data speaking to us, and there it is. And so if you want to know on the daily basis what your weather's going to be like, you've got to come over to my blog, and you gotta subscribe to the Daily Digest. Okay, let me show you where it is. Datablends.us. It's the last article I wrote. It's right here, the Daily Digest of Worldwide Global Warming. I wrote it a couple weeks ago. Of course, nobody pays attention to it. Just like I told you in the meeting, nobody pays attention to it. I'm not crazy. I'm just the guy doing the data. And this is the article. Here's an example of the Daily Digest if you want to learn how to use it, just like I showed you today. And here are some examples. And here they are. So far, I've only put up July and August. And I'm going to put the whole year. I'm going to put up every day of every year. But there it is. If you want to go to today, there's July 25th. If you want to go to tomorrow, let's take a look at tomorrow, in fact. Let's see what it shows. This is July 26th coming off of Tableau Server. And we can see Tableau Public Server. Let's take a look. Zoom into the US. We got still some cooling. We still got some of that Midwest cooling. It's still going to be a lot like it was today. Doesn't look as profound, but there's still going to be cooling in the Midwest. I bet you wake up in the morning with cool mornings. Now, it's July 25th. Watch tomorrow, July 26th, and see if the Kenny Cool weather forecast is true. If you live in Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, probably there's nobody who listens to me up there. But if you are, remember, Hollywood's going to come calling one day and say, how did this guy know that this global warming was going to create cold summers and these other crazy changes? They're going to make a movie about me because Hollywood likes to make movies about people who can predict the future. And I'm here predicting the future, but it's the Zen that allows me to do it. And of course, Alteryx. You got to be an Alteryx ace to do it too. So anyway, thanks for listening. I know I'm crazy, but I'm not really crazy because the data is speaking.